Calamera, good morning from Tea Rosa Bed and Breakfast, where I'm cooking for you on behalf of Cafe de Chat Noir. So today we're going to start with making some Pitta breads, but Greek-style Pitta breads, which are different from Turkish Pitta bread. Turkish Pitta bread tends to have kind of like a pocket, kind of a flap, but Greek one is more kind of soft, and you tend to have things on top of it. Okay, here we go. So the ingredients that we have today are 600 grams of plain white flour. That can be either strong flour, like bread flour, or just all-purpose flour if you don't have strong bread flour. We have olive oil. We have 330 milliliters of warm water, but only warm. You don't want it too cold, otherwise it won't work, and you don't want it too hot because you'll kill the yeast. We have half a cup of Greek yogurt. I have 7 grams of dried yeast, but you could use fresh yeast if you preferred. I have 5 to 6 grams of sugar. I have a teaspoon of dried oregano, and we're going to need some salt. So we're going to start off with 330 ml of warm water. Again, as I said, you don't want this too hot, otherwise you'll kill the yeast, and you don't want it too cold because it won't activate the yeast. Into there, I'm going to put my sugar, because the sugar really does help to activate the yeast. Give that a stir, and then add the yeast. Give that a stir just to mix it all up. Then if you set that aside somewhere that's warm, and leave it for about 10-15 minutes, and I'll come back to you and show you how the yeast is activated and that we're ready to start making the dough to make the pita breads. As you can see, the yeast is all foamed up, and that's where you kind of want it to be going. Like if you look into the side, it shows how kind of it is. So this is how we want this. Next we're going to do is take our flour and make a well in the middle of the flour. Okay. Then into there we're going to add all our ingredients. So we have a good glug of olive oil. We want our Greek yogurt. We want our oregano, and on the very side of the flour, in the corner, we want the salt. The reason we put this to the side is because we don't want it touching the yeast straight away, because otherwise it'll kill the activation of the yeast, which we don't want to do. So we kind of put it into the side. Pour all the ingredients into the middle of the well, making sure you've got all of your yeast out. Then using your 3 middle fingers, start turning slowly, and as it is turning, it starts to bring in all of the flour together. So it's kind of like a big 3-forked prong sort of thing. Here we go. So stirring it in slowly until you kind of work all the flour and everything all into the mixture. Then you can start bringing everything all into this to combine all of that in together. Okay, as you can see, it's kind of very sticky at the moment, but as you work it, the flour will come together nicely. Okay, keep working it. Turning it. There you go, get it with both hands. Get all that off. Okay. And so keep turning and turning and turning and mixing and turning. Okay. Still see it's very moist on the inside, so all that flour will go into this dough. This will pretty much combined into there now. So what we're going to do, we're going to give this a second. I'm going to dust down my worktop with some flour, and then we'll start kneading. Onto this then, I'm going to pour my dough, and we're going to start working the dough. So what we're going to do is we want to keep turning it and poking it in and turn it, and then what we're going to, because we're trying to get the activation of the flour going. So using the ball of your hand, push down and push away, okay? And then you can start stretching it. Okay, make sure it's all combined in there. And keep doing it. It's a very sticky dough, but don't worry about that. That's exactly how it's meant to be at this moment. Okay. Let's see. This is all the gluten actually activating in the flour. If I can just get a little bit more flour there, Paul. My glamorous assistant is just going to give me a little bit more flour. That's great. Okay. Fantastic. Again, and keep working it. So you want to keep doing this for about 15 minutes and come back to me and I should show you where we are at that point. You're kneading this for about 15 minutes and as you can see it's all come together and it's a really nice bread dough. So let's just give it a final bit of a knead in. There you go. So that's all nice and ready. So I'm going to put that back into the same bowl as we started with and I'm going to cover it and I'm going to leave it, because it's a really warm day, I'm going to leave it about 45 minutes. If it was a colder day than today and the kitchen wasn't as warm as it is, I would then leave it for about an hour. Okay, we'll come back to us in 45 minutes. Oh, so you can see it's been 45 minutes and say it's a really warm day here in Cardiff today, and it's only taken 45 minutes, but as you can see, it's kind of doubled in size. So I'm going to take off the cling film that I had on the top. Okay, we're going to add a little bit of olive oil to our workbench for now. Okay, not loads. Give it a good old wipe it all around. Okay, and then we're going to turn the dough out onto the workbench. The flour that is on there is from the flour that was in the bowl before we put the dough back in, but that'll all work into itself. So again, we want to kind of knock this right back. So what knocking back means is kind of getting all the air back out of it, kind of thing. You only want to do this for a couple of minutes. It's not like a long thing. There you go. That's pretty much enough. So I'm just going to turn it back all over and pop it back into our bowl, where again I'm going to cover this with cling film and leave it for another 45 minutes to an hour, depending on whether it's a hot day or cold day. As I say, today's a hot day, so 45 minutes from now and it should be ready. Okay, so this has been resting or kind of doing this thing for about another 45 minutes. So again, what we're going to do, we're going to take that out and see how big and fluffy that is. Okay. Ooh, wow. Okay, so we're just going to put it all together again. And we need to cut this and do it in a pie kind of shape. So, because I want to do 6 equal pieces. Okay. There you go. So I'm going to pick up each one and I'm going to put it together in my hand and make it into a ball like this. Okay. Oh, I didn't do a very good job on getting that to cut very well. Yeah, definitely didn't do that very good job. That's kind of it doesn't matter because we want each one to be about the same. So let's steal a bit off that one. Try to the next one. It is sticky, but don't worry about that. Okay. So, add a bit from that one and a bit from that one. Okay. And that's our 6th one. So add in a little bit of flour. start working out these like you'd start working out a piece of pizza, okay? But then, okay, and you want to roll these to be, it can be round or doesn't really matter, but about this kind of shape, okay? Put them to one side. And again, the same again. Okay. So roll them up. Into about 8 inches sort of thing. There we go. So I'll finish rolling these out, and then you can come back to me. Right, so we've kind of rolled out all of our pita breads now. So the next thing to do is take in an heavy bottomed pan. Okay, then into there we're going to take some olive oil, and we're going to brush it on the bottom. We don't want loads. Okay, and we want that on a medium heat. We don't want it too high, but we do want it to be able to cook. And then you take one of our pita breads, okay, and you put it in the bottom of the pan and leave that to cook. So that's going to take a few minutes. So what I'll do is, as this is cooking through and is coming to the point that I'm about to turn it over, I'll show you. It should take about 4 minutes, 5 minutes, something like this. So this has been cooking away for about 3 or 4 minutes. As you can see, it started to lift up from the pan and starting to kind of thingy. Underneath is nice and brown, so what we're going to do is flip that over and cook the second side of it. Turn that down a little. And we kind of want this to kind of just brown the same on the other side, and then we're going to set them aside. When they're all cooked, then we'll be ready to serve the food onto the pita bread. I'm actually going to put this on the bottom of the pita bread and then put all the food on top of it. So when you've actually finished eating all of your food, you can then you eat the pita bread with all the flavours from the meat and everything will go into it. Or you could just cut them up and use them for dipping with tzatziki, tarama salata, etc. Okay, we'll come back to you when this is done. Okay, so we've come to doing our final one. So nice and brown on top, as you can see underneath. Yeah, that's perfect. So let's flip that over. That's a little bit overdone because I was waiting for Paul to get ready to do the filming, but it's okay. And that's our six breads done. So nice and easy, nice and simple, and will taste absolutely gorgeous with our tzatziki and our kebabs, souvlaki kebabs that we'll be doing to go with these. Bye-bye.